Hello guys, welcome to my new video. This video is related to June solstice, longest day of the year 2021. So let's go. The June solstice, your signal to celebrate summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere, will happen on June 21, 2021 at 3:32 UTC. That's June 20 at 10:32 p.m. CDT in North America for us in the northern hemisphere. This solstice will mark the beginning of summer and the longest day of the year. Early dawns, long days, late sunset, short night, the sun will be at its height each day as it crosses the sky. Meanwhile, south of the equator, winter will begin. Now we go for a first question related to June solstice. What is solstice? Ancient cultures knew that the sun's path across the sky, the length of the daylight, and the location of the sunrise and sunset all shifted in a regular way throughout the year. Today we know that the solstice is an astronomical event caused by Earth's tilt on its axis and its motion in orbit around the sun. It's, it is because Earth doesn't orbit upright. Instead, our world is tilted on its axis by 23.5 degrees. Earth's northern and southern hemispheres trade places in receiving the sunlight and warmth most directly. At the June solstice, Earth is positioned in its orbit so that our world's north pole is leaning most toward the sun, as seen from Earth. The sun is directly overhead at noon, 23.5 degrees north of the equator, at an imaginary line encircling the globe known as the Tropic of Cancer, named after the constellation Cancer, the crab. This is as far north as the sun ever gets. All locations north of the equator have done longer than 12 hours at the June solstice. Meanwhile, all locations south of the equator have days shorter than 12 hours. Next question. When is the June solstice where I live? The solstice take place on June 21, 2021 at 3:32 UTC, that's June 20, 10:32 p.m. CDT in North America. A solstice happened at the same instant for all of us, everywhere on Earth. To find the time of a solstice in your location, you have to. Here is an example of how to do that. In the central United States, for those of us using a central daylight time, we subtract 5 hours from universal time. Subtracting 5 hours from 3:32 give us a negative number because the solstice happened on the previous calendar date relative to UTC. Whenever you face is dilemma, you can always add 24 hours to UTC to get 27:32. 3:32 plus 24 is equal to 27, 32, and then subtract to 5 hours to get 22:32, 10:32 p.m. the previous date. Want to know the time in your location? Check out the Earth Skies article and just remember you are translating from 3:32 UTC June 20. Third question. Where should I look to see signs of the solstice in nature? Everywhere, for all of Earth's creatures, nothing is so fundamental as the length of the day. After all, the sun is the ultimate source of almost all light and warmth of Earth's surface. If you live in the northern hemisphere, you might notice the early dawn and late sunset and the high arc of the sun across the sky each day. You might see how high the sun appears in the sky at local noon, and be sure to look at your noontime shadow around the time of the solstice. It is your shortest noontime shadow of the year. If you are a person who is tuned into the out of doors, you know the peaceful, comforting feeling that accompanies these signs and signals of the year's longest day. Fourth question: is the solstice the first day of summer? No. World Body has designed an official day to start each session, and different schools of thought or tradition define the season in different ways. In meteorology, for example, summer begins on June 1, and every school child knows that summer starts when the last school bell of the year rings. Yet, June 21 is perhaps the most widely recognized day upon which summer begins in the northern hemisphere, and upon which winters begins on the southern half of Earth's globe. There is nothing official about it, but it is such a long held tradition that we all recognize it to be so. It has been universal among the human to treasure this time, birth, and life. Now, fifth question: how does it end up hotter later in the summer if June has the longest day? People often ask this question: if the June solstice brings the longest day, why do we experience the hottest weather in the late July and August? This effect is called the lag of the season. It is the same reason it is hotter in mid afternoon than at noon time. Earth just takes a while to warm up after a long winter. Even in June, ice and snow still blanket the ground in some places. The sun has to melt the ice and warm the ocean, and then we feel the almost sweltering summer heat. Ice and snow have been melting. Spring began. Melted water and rainwater have been percolating down through snow on top of glaciers. But the runoff from glacier isn't as great now as it will be in another month, even though sunlight is striking the northern hemisphere most directly around now. So wait another month for the hottest weather. It will come when the days are already beginning to shorten again as the Earth continues to move in the orbit around the Sun, bringing us closer to winter. And so the cycle continues. If you guys like my video, then like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.